This part of the Cape is going to look really different. This is going to look like it used to be. It used to be a whole salt marsh here. It's all about reestablishing what naturally would be here if we hadn't messed with it. Salt marshes provide a number of ecosystem services. Humans profoundly changed this landscape and environment by constructing dams and dikes, and that has severely damaged the local ecosystem and brought it to the brink of collapse.
The Herring River was named after its once thriving herring population. But after more than a century severed from the sea, this ecosystem is in collapse. But now, backed by nearly $15 million in federal funding, one of the Northeast USA's largest salt marsh restoration projects is underway. This is the story of the Herring River and the effort to bring it back to life. Hi, I'm Stephanie Andrews, climate scientist, ocean adventurer, and systems specialist at NexSens. In 1909, the Chequesset Neck Road Dike was built across the Herring River near Wellfleet and Truro, Massachusetts, choking off its tidal flow and transforming this once thriving estuary into one of the most restricted in the Northeast. That disruption cut off upstream migration routes for species like river herring, and over time, their population has crashed by an estimated 90%, with other species disappearing entirely. At the river's mouth, salt marshes relied on regular sediment delivery from the incoming tide to maintain elevation and ecological functioning. After the diking happened, the tidal range decreased from around 3 metres to just half a metre, and without the tides, the marsh began to collapse, releasing an estimated 730,000 metric tonnes of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere as it decomposed, and with devastating consequences for habitat and wildlife. So, what's the solution? The Herring River Restoration Project aims to restore the salt marshes at the mouth of the Herring River by replacing the dike with a bridge. Initially, the bridge will have 12 electronic tide gates, which will be opened gradually to restore tidal exchange. The exact amount of water let through will be determined by one of several adaptive management plans, ranging from less to more conservative. After a period of up to 10 years, depending on the adaptive management plan selected, the gates will be removed entirely, leaving just the bridge. But it's delicate work. Too fast, and you risk flooding homes and businesses, but too slow, and the marsh won't recover. Better data is key to guiding this transition, and the NexSens X-Series data logger is an important part of this, providing real-time data displayed on the WQ Data Live online dashboard, the first step in making informed management decisions. Francesco Peri is President and CEO at Charybdis Group LLC, and he's tasked with monitoring water level and water quality, providing the data that ultimately allows management decisions to be made.
We have about 5 stations currently active, 2 that are ready to be deployed, and these stations are positioned mostly in the upper estuary and the river, and one is downstream of the Chequesset Neck Road Bridge. Each station has an in-situ Aquatrol 600 multi-parameter sonde, which comprises 4 different sensors. The parameters that we're measuring are temperature and conductivity, pH, dissolved oxygen, and turbidity. These sensors collect data at 6 minutes interval, and then the data logger transmits this data over to the server at about a 30-minute interval. The nice thing about these data loggers is the ease of integration of different instruments. You can just select them from a drop-down and just plug and play.
As salt water returns, freshwater plants die, releasing nutrients and changing the soil chemistry. Residents and business owners watch on warily. An ecosystem in flux can have unexpected consequences. With so many aspects to consider, real-time data is a deal-breaker on this project.
We have been monitoring this system prior to the construction, during the construction, and will be monitoring during the restoration of the title exchange process. I have approximately 3 years of continuous data prior to the beginning of the construction. The data is collected by the multi-parameter sondes and transmitted telemeter to the NexSens warehouse where the data is archived. The data is also presented through the NexSens web interface. It's called WQ Data Live, and it allows us to monitor the data loggers, configure them, and create dashboards that can be presented to the general public. From the NexSens servers, the data is then downloaded to QA/QC process that is managed by a team in the National Park Service, and the data is, after curation, is then uploaded to a different database, and that's the data that is used for the adaptive management process that will control the opening and or closing of the gates at the Chequesset Neck Road Bridge. This project introduces a lot of changes which affects a number of stakeholders. Oyster farmers have a number of different concerns. One is based on sedimentation of their oyster flats, whether that is excessive sediment coming from this area or deprivation of their sediment. The other concern is water quality. Real-time data is essential in capturing phenomena that we had not expected to see. For example, during construction, there has been a movement of the location of the culverts, which was supposed to provoke no changes in the water level. However, our sensors detected a sudden raise in water level on average of about a foot. That was not predicted, not modeled, and we would not have been able to observe that if we hadn't had real-time monitoring.
Environmental monitoring on this project is constantly evolving.
We are in Duck Harbor right now. The sandbar used to prevent the tidal water from coming into this area, but a few years ago there was a breach into this sandbar that started an overwash of salt water into this part of the estuary. We initially only had planned to have one station here at Duck Harbor, but we now think that there might be a need for 2 additional stations in the tributaries.
Later this year, Francesco's team will finish upgrading all the data loggers to the latest X3 model. Sensors are getting an upgrade too.
Mostly we are gearing up to have all X3 data loggers in the system. The X3 also offers the ability to do satellite telemetry. Some of these areas are not fully covered by cellular. In terms of the instrumentation, we are converting to monitoring water level by microwave radar altimetry. So the non-contact allows us to leave these sensors in year-round, whereas earlier we were removing the multi-parameter zones from the field during the harshest months. So now we can have extended data coverage.
Data will continue to be an important part of the Herring River Restoration Project throughout its duration and beyond. This project is a powerful reminder that deeper understanding leads to smarter management and better outcomes for people and the environment. Visit nexsens.com for more information. NexSens. Better data. It's never been easier.